Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Zhilei, Big Bang Zhang. Get this. Zhilei Zhang gives verdict on Joshua Ngannou. He says they won't let him fight me. Zhilei Zhang has once again claimed that he is being left out of in the cold after Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou was announced. Zhang is now legitimately something of an avoided heavyweight. He had two huge back-to-back wins over Joe Joyce last year. And he says, I can't say I'm disappointed in a matter of personal choice. Joshua has his personal choice. If you look at Ngannou, he's come into the sport and has a record of 0-1. He's the cash cow. If I fought Ngannou, I would make a ton of money. What is boxing? It's a business or a competitive sport. That's the question, okay? And he said, actually, I never thought this fight would be made. If Joshua believes he only had 40% chance he could beat me, it won't happen. I don't even think it's a 60-40 in my head. Eddie Hearn will not let him fight me. It's too much of a risk. Those are the words of Zhilei Big Bang Zhang. And let me counter this part thus far. Zhang, I know he wanted his revenge on AJ. He's been saying that for a while now, the last couple weeks. And, really past that, the last few months, he's been wanting the AJ fight. And the whole question was, would AJ fight another southpaw due to the fact of Alexander Usyk being a southpaw, beating him back to back? Okay. And that was the question. And he answered everyone's question because he got out of Weilin in there, overnight with the Days of Reckoning. And Zhilei Zhang was in talks of fighting Joseph Parker. Okay, so as we got that cleared up yesterday, it was revealed that Joseph Parker was going to fight Zhilei Zhang, but then out of nowhere, Joseph Parker got the opportunity to face Deontay Wilder. Okay, so, I don't know where Zhang, or how or why they left Zhang out, though, simply because Zhang was going to be one of those major players for Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker ended up being on the co-main event fighting Wilder. So I don't know what happened to Zhilei Zhang. That's the million-dollar question. However, I think what the Saudis are doing, they're trying to make it up. Okay, they're trying to pick back up and get him a fight, Zhilei Zhang a fight, and put him in there with somebody credible. Well, AJ does have pull, and he does have a choice. Like Zhilei Zhang is saying. And he's saying, well, they won't let him fight me. I don't know if that's the case or not, simply based on the fact that I feel that Zhilei Zhang is a guy that he can be beat. He can be beat. He's been, but I think he's very dangerous. And I think the older he gets, the more dangerous he will be until he no longer can be able to perform at that particular level. But I think up until then, he's like a wounded animal to me. He's like a guy that has nothing to lose but everything to gain. And him saying that, Eddie doesn't want that fight for him, I think Eddie wants the best thing, and Zhilei Zhang ain't the best thing. Think about it. How much money would he make? Or should I say, let's put it this way. How much money would the Saudis give AJ to fight Zhilei Zhang now versus fighting in Francis Ngannou? He even said it himself. Well, hey, if I fought Francis, I would make a ton of money because he comes in without a win, but he comes in as a cash cow because he's well respected in another platform that also involves combat, right? And he even acknowledges it. So him saying, okay, well, if I were AJ, basically he's saying, well, I could make a ton of money. Is this a business or is it, a competition? Well, to answer the question is a business always first? Competition second. The competition part of it is them trying to sell you how competitive it will be based on the money that the fighters will make, based on the money that they will expect to earn from people watching it. Okay, so Zhilei Zhang pretty much answered his own question and explained why Joshua picked Francis Ngannou. Now as far as the opportunities for the belt, well, Zhang is the WBO, right? Because he beat Joe Joyce, was the WBO interim. So that belongs to Zhilei Zhang now. However, the problem is Zhilei Zhang is not in line. He's not the next person in line. See, they still, Ergovic, Zhang, they still have to wait on who wins against Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. And IBF is closer because they are the ones that's really pressing the issue to strip the belt if they're not in defense of the mandatory. And that's Filip Ergovic, a guy that beat Zhilei Zhang. So, if you're AJ, and these fights may not happen because we don't know what's going to happen. So you can play the long game and say, well, you know what? I don't even know if Usyk and Tyson Fury are just going to fight one time because they both have rematch clauses. Let's say it's a close fight, and they got to fight again anyway, regardless of who wins and who draws or loses. So that will be the case with them. Then the WBO, whoever that guy is, the interim, he still has to wait. So AJ fighting Zhang really won't be, it'll be risky because I think Zhang, they call him Big Bang for a reason, and now I know why. Boom! Look at Joe Joyce, right? But I think it will be a risk without the reward, because the reward you would still have to wait. Whereas taking on Filip Hrgovic now, I feel though, for Joshua, which is not going to happen, he's fighting Francis, but if he would have taken him on, that would have been the fight to take, not Zhang anyway. So Zhang, I think, him saying they won't, Eddie won't let him fight. Well, if I'm Eddie Hearn, I wouldn't advise that either. Fight Zhilei Zhang. Okay, for what? To be second string in a waiting line behind the IBF? That's all that's happening in this situation. So you either fight for the money because Filip Hrgovic, right? He's going to be where he's going to be. But Francis Ngannou is the money in the fight I think people would rather see. Bars. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Zhilei Zhang stating that Eddie Hearn doesn't want Anthony Joshua to fight me. They're afraid. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!